There once was a philosophy professor that, standing before his class, had several items on the table in front of him, and so when the class began, without saying a word, he picked up this very large and empty mayonnaise-type jar and proceeded to fill it with rocks about 2 inches in diameter. He then asked his students, "Is the jar full?" And they all agreed that it was, but then the professor picked up a box of little pebbles and he poured them into the jar, and he shook the jar just a little bit, and sure enough, the pebbles, of course, rolled into the open areas between the rocks. He then asked the students again if the jar was full, and they agreed that it was. Well, then the professor picked up a box of sand, and of course he poured it into the jar, and the sand filled up all the remaining areas, that were open in the jar. So then he asked him again, he said, "Now is the jar full?" And the students responded unanimously, "Well, yes, now it's full." And the professor says, "Well, now what I want you to do is I want you to recognize that this jar actually represents your life. The rocks are the important things, like your family and your partner and your health and your children, and things that if everything else, was lost and only they remained, your life would still be full. The pebbles are the other things that matter, like maybe your job, your house, your car, but the sand is everything else, all the small stuff. And if you put the sand into the jar first, of course, then there's no room for the pebbles or the rocks. And the same goes for your life. If you spend all your time and energy on the small stuff, you will never have room for the things that are important to you. You need to pay attention to the things that are critical to your happiness. Play with your children. Take your partner out dancing. There's always going to be time to work and to clean the house or to give a dinner party or even to fix that disposal that gets broken every now and then. What you need to do is take care of the rocks first, the things that really matter. Set your priorities, for all the rest is just sand. This is Pastor Riley, and that's just a thought.